Comprehensive immigration reform. Most everyone agrees on the need for comprehensive immigration reform, yet no such plans are proposed, let alone enacted into law. The legislative response is piecemeal at best. But why? Is the issue of immigration really so difficult to solve? Let's explore a couple of very different approaches and decide for ourselves. In Plan A, you start the journey with only what you carry on your back. In Plan B, you submit an application online in full confidentiality. With Plan A, you will confront many dangers along the way, and not all will survive. With Plan B, you board a plane to your new home on the scheduled day. With A, your challenge does not end at the border. You live in constant fear of deportation. Employers take advantage of you. With B, you arrive at your new home, but it doesn't end there. You are offered continued support to ease the transition, like language classes and job training. As you probably guessed it, Plan A is essentially our current system. And while we don't explicitly force people to make the trip, we incentivize that choice. We offer the carrot of free schooling, financial aid, and health care to anyone who makes it across the border. We incentivize the breaking of our own laws. Plan B is clearly the more humane approach, but it would only work if we're willing to take responsibility for the process. Simply crossing the border cannot be a path to citizenship without undermining any sort of legal approach. And rather than offer services to the undocumented, we need to make everyone already here citizens. Amnesty is necessary to transition everyone to the same set of laws. To many, the idea of controlling or managing immigration seems antithetical to human rights, but the reality is just the opposite, that an uncontrolled process is less humane. For immigration reform to be comprehensive, it must also address the causes of migration. Why do people come? Some make the trip for economic reasons, for employment, but many, especially from the Northern Triangle region of Central America, come here to escape violence, corruption, and the general failure of governance. The U.S. has spent billions to address these problems, but ultimately the efforts fall short as they don't address root cause, in this case the drug war. Local governance is outfunded and outgunned by the drug cartels. The only way to stop them is to remove their funding source, the drug money, and the only way to do that is to decriminalize drugs. Doing this is necessary to allow local governance the chance to succeed. But are we ready to end our decades-long drug war, our second go at prohibition? Are we ready to treat addiction as a medical issue rather than a criminal one? This needs to happen, not just because of the suffering it causes elsewhere, but in our own nation as well. Would ending the drug war fix all immigration or drug abuse issues? No, but it would be an important move in the right direction. While we can alleviate some causes of migration, that isn't always the case. There will be others forced to leave their homes, refugees from war or persecution. They arrive at our border asking for asylum and receive it, not just out of a legal obligation, but also a moral one. But asylum cannot be a guarantee of citizenship. If it is, we no longer control our own population growth. Given the consequences of an increasing population on our cities and infrastructure, this is not a responsible approach. This doesn't mean asylum seekers can't become citizens, only that they must follow the same process as everyone else. Birthright citizenship. There are two forms of birthright citizenship, restricted and unrestricted. Our system is unrestricted. If you're born within our borders, you're automatically a citizen. Restricted birthright citizenship means additional restrictions apply, that at least one parent is already a citizen or legal resident. This is the policy of the UK, France, Germany, Italy, India, Japan, Spain, and many other nations. The problem with unrestricted birthright citizenship is that the policy is abused. Pregnant women fly into the country just to give birth, an industry known as birth tourism. Unrestricted birthright citizenship is just not necessary once everyone is living within the country legally. And beyond that, it really doesn't make sense. If a French family is on vacation in the U.S. and the mother gives birth, it's only natural that the child is a French citizen, the same as the parents. It's not necessary to bestow dual citizenship as a parting gift. We should adopt the same birthright citizenship restrictions as other nations. In summary, comprehensive immigration reform needs to satisfy the following criteria. It needs to be humane without people dying along the way. It needs to be lawful with everyone agreeing on the same set of laws. It needs to be fair without loopholes or people jumping the line. And finally, it needs to be managed, in other words, by design rather than constantly reactive. Finally, it's important to understand that immigration reform is not about the numbers. We can bring in as few or as many immigrants into our country as we choose, so long as it is a choice and not reactive. As a nation founded on immigrants, we can do better. Comprehensive immigration reform is not only possible, it's absolutely necessary.